Hello, Double GDP community. I'm Nolan Myers, CEO of Double GDP, and we're building an end-to-end platform for cities to connect with their residents and to deliver efficient, accountable, and responsive public services. I'm here today for a sprint update for February 5th, and I'll go through the goals of last sprint, the progress we made against those goals, and what we intend to do next sprint. So what we intended to accomplish last sprint was to enroll clients on the platform, get word out about our jobs, explore the next CRM use cases, and plan for a Charter Cities conference coming up in March, plan what we're going to do. I feel really good about the progress that we made this sprint, some really exciting things. In terms of the #1 priority was to enroll clients. And on that goal, we nearly tripled our client base in this last sprint, which was very exciting. So we did a lot of just face-to-face enrollment, being out at the Nkwashi main gate, meeting people, saying hi, and enrolling them in the application. Overall, the feedback that we've gotten has been very positive. People like the experience. They think it's faster, easier, and more secure than the paper logs that they've been using at the gate. And so I think that was a very gratifying process to go through. We also had one of the busiest weeks that we've seen yet at the gate. And so the data that we got back is just some of the most interesting and sort of full of feedback that we have so far. So that was really exciting, and many thanks to Mutale and Olivier for spending a lot of time out at the gate and meeting clients of Nkwashis, and just being sort of a very welcoming presence, and as well as getting to know and spend more time with the guards. It's really been nice. At a personal level, it's also been really great when they're there in the afternoon and I'm up in the morning and a guard happens to stop by. I get to say hello, and it's really nice to connect with the team. There's more from both of them in their updates, including a demo of what the gate registration process looks like when somebody scans in. So I encourage you to go check that out. On the hiring front, one of the big goals that I had was to move our jobs board from a default Greenhouse jobs board to the Double GDP website, so that when we send a link to our jobs, it's in the context of the rest of our website. We have that up and running now. I'll give a quick highlight of that. So right now we have the website here, and now we have a doublegdp./jobs where we have all of the jobs that we have up posted. And you can apply directly from here. So if you are a head of engineering and you want to work at Double GDP, you come right here, read more about the job, and apply on our website. We also have that I've done our first posts to Twitter and LinkedIn. And so we now have our first social media announcement that we have jobs and that we're recruiting. And I bought our first ad on Women Who Code. So here it shows the stack and what they'll be doing, some of the benefits in the hiring process. So it was interesting to see, to learn about the process that they have and how they help their candidates lay things out. Fantastic community, and I hope to get many wonderful applicants from there. On the hiring front, also, I guess a couple of lowlights this week. I feel fairly far behind. We still have quite a number of applications that have people who have applied for front-end engineer and user interface design that are still awaiting my initial review. And so if you're in that queue, I apologize for not having a chance to do it this last couple of weeks, but I absolutely will make sure to go through and read every application in the next week. Thank you very much for your interest and for your patience. Also a low light on the recruiting front, we have agreed with the ZIG, our partners in Africa, to bring on another front-end engineer. And we had hoped that somebody would be starting at the beginning of February. The engineer that we had hoped to work with there is not going to be available right away. And so we are now looking to find somebody else who will be working with us. So I'm excited to get that going, but a little disappointed that it's taking longer than expected there. On the CRM front, we also a lot of exciting things. I encourage you to go watch Olivier's presentation about the notes and highlights, notes and to-dos. So we did a little bit of revision there when we first rolled that out. The notes were something that were taken on each person was taking notes on themselves, and in a traditional CRM model, it is something that that the administrative team uses to help keep track of the conversation, not keep track of, but help be aware of this conversation that that is going on with a customer, and be able to pull up previous history of other conversations they may have had with other administrative staff. And so we did a little bit of revision on the notes to make it work more like that. And we're also starting to explore whether there might be some other back-end capabilities that we can use from a general CRM or an existing CRM, if we can use that for a backend and be able to put our own skin around that, our own UI around it. So we're looking at Odoo and Suite CRM as two possible candidates there. Definitely open to others. If anybody in the community has one that they'd like to recommend, please post on the comments. And Mark has a little bit more to share about that in his update. Also in the CRM front, we had a great conversation with a potential partner who shared more about the challenge in growing a new city, about marketing and getting the word out to the potential residents or the people that you want to attract to the city. That is clearly something that falls square into the things that we're considering in the CRM suite of our application, and so we're going to explore more of that in the next sprint. So I'm very excited to hear about those use cases and see what we're able to do to follow up both with Nkwashi and with the other partner. On the Charter Cities Conference, we have figured out the headline of the talk that I'll be giving in March. So this conference is something that is going to be very exciting. It's the inaugural Charter Cities Conference taking place in Johannesburg, March 17th and 18th through our partners at the Charter Cities Institute. I sat down with the director there, and we talked a little bit about what would be an interesting technology presentation. And so the thing that I'm excited to talk about is that there have been really some great technology companies that have grown through the innovation in making more convenient services for customers and more access to things. So Uber is a great example that I think about of it's not that they created something that was totally different than anything that existed in the market before, but they just made it so much easier to be able to get to those services and to provide feedback on how the services worked. And so we want to tell stories about that and see what inspiration we can take from other tech companies that have innovated in this area, and think about what lessons we can learn and how we might apply those lessons to new cities growing up, and the ways that they can use technology to provide better, faster, more efficient, or more accountable or responsive services. Again, if you have feedback or comments around this, I would love to hear them. Please post something to the comments below on this video. Jay also talks a little bit more about this in his presentation. So if you want to learn more about our efforts there at the Charter Cities Conference, please watch his video. And then we also had a couple of other highlights or sort of progress that were not on the priority list of things that we deliberately set out to accomplish this sprint, but are worth calling out anyway. First is just further onboarding of the finance team. And so I'm just realizing now that I've shared a different screen than I had intended to share. This is the one that I intended to share. So just a quick recap here. At Charter Cities Conference is March 17th and 18th in Johannesburg, and please go visit that and come see me in March. And then the final thing was the call out to our partners at Formation Financial, who've done a great job taking up all the work that Jay was doing and freeing him up to have more partnerships conversations. So thank you to the team there for coming up to speed very quickly. And then finally is on our blog, I wanted to show that we have a new blog post here. Jay will talk a lot more about this in his update, but our top reads of 2019 and some of the things that we're learning there, really just an interesting blog post that has already had some of the highest traction on our website. So excited to see that, and would love to hear comments or feedback from people who want to share what they're reading and what they're learning. So that's all for the progress on this sprint. Thinking about next sprint, we're going to have our sprint planning meeting starting next week. But the 4 priorities that I'm looking at right now and that we've started thinking about are one, just to observe the simplified process at the gate. We changed a little bit of the access protocol this week so that we're not waiting for approval, so it can be faster and easier for people to get in while still being secure. So we're going to watch that very closely and iterate and see if there are things that we can do to tweak that and make that better and make sure that rollout is going smoothly. The second is we want to start implementing a feedback loop, giving a way that residents or clients can interact with us directly, provide feedback to us or to Nkwashi through the application, and start seeing what that might look like, just to give either a thumbs up or thumbs down after they've come into the gate, or if they have a support ticket open with us, giving a review afterwards, number of star review afterwards, just to tell us how we did, or to provide any other comments or feedback that they have. Building out more responsive services and feedback loops into services is a big part of the mission that we have. And so we're excited to start dogfooding that and see how we can use that to improve our own services, even as we're thinking about ways to roll that out and incorporate that feedback into our CRM. The third priority is to explore more around the CRM, some experimentation on the back end to see if we might bootstrap some software there, think about marketing tools and how we might help accelerate marketing efforts at Nkwashi or at other partners. And we also want to start looking at event registration and how that applies. That may not be strictly a CRM use case, that may be, I think that's kind of a combination between CRM and gate access, but thinking about when are there going to be events at Nkwashi and what can we do to make that registration process very easy, so that when people are coming in, they have just a very great and welcoming experience, while we're also making sure that it stays secure. And then the fourth goal for next sprint is just more efforts around recruiting. We want to get more great candidates into the pipeline. And I have a commitment to review every application that has come in the next sprint. So thank you very much if you have applied, and I'm looking forward to reading what you wrote. That's it for this sprint. Look forward to comments or feedback, and talk to you again in another couple of weeks. Bye-bye.